Okay, welcome students to Health Services Management Practice. Today's tutorial is on proactive management and strategic planning. The reason we group these two terms is because they are, in essence, quite similar, but fairly different at the same time. I want you to probably start by thinking about an organisation and their mission and their aims and what they're looking to do as an organisation. For any organisation to function effectively and work well, it needs to be structured and have a strong aim, mission, and value statements. Okay, and you'll see that in most areas of health, and particularly non-government organisations, it seems to be promoted a lot more. However, there was a process of doing this on most New South Wales health units. It was called the core principles, and the idea being that each unit was to outline 4 key core principles to the business of that particular unit. It was to get all the staff on the same page and ensure that they were working effectively and more efficient, as they all had a common aim. And it seems to significantly impact on efficiency and effectiveness of any health workforce. So I guess the first concept to talk about is proactive management. Now, proactive management, if we were to look at it in the terms of proactive and reactive, they're probably the two terms I want to think. Thinking about a fire plan for your house, for example, a proactive approach would be to do bushfire prevention, to make sure you clean the gutters and things like that, to make sure that if a fire was to come, you were ready. A reactive approach would be to get out there with a hose when there's a fire quite close and just hose down your house and try and keep it wet so it can't catch fire. Okay, but in essence, you haven't really dealt with the problem up front. You're just trying to put a band-aid solution at the back end of the actual problem. And it's been seen that most organisations that take a proactive management approach to different areas of their business, it seems to future-proof their organisation. The fact is, they can develop a strategic edge or a way to kind of if it's a business idea, the idea is that they have that niche market cornered because they've been really proactive in thinking about what's the future going to look like and how can we establish ourselves as a key driver in that. Okay, so the examples I've given here, I've given 3 from work health safety, workforce planning, and also finance. The work health safety example I've got is day-to-day or month-to-month workplace safety assessments, looking at someone's workplace itself. So in a healthcare setting, this might be a nursing area or a nursing the emergency department, could be a fill station, could be admin officer at their desk. Okay, looking at that and actually assessing the structured assessments that work health safety academics have actually put together. And looking for all those kind of issues, looking for the key risks and ways to kind of control them at that level. A reactive approach to that would be, post an injury, waiting until something was to happen, someone to have a fall or something to fall on someone, and at that point there, you would look to isolate and substitute whatever it is that caused the injury, for example. One example I've got from my practice was, a few buildings got made into one building, and there was this walkway that got turned into an internal area, and there was a step that was 2 centimeters bigger than most steps and was against building regulations. We would actually always find that staff would, if they're in a rush, they get up to the 3rd step and always trip on that 3rd step because they're in a rush. So we looked at it in terms of work health safety. We did assessments on it, and we made it safer by we actually had a contractor come in and take a couple of centimeters off that last step or that second last step to make sure that it was within code. A reactive approach to that would have actually been waiting until someone tripped and did themselves a significant injury. Workforce planning, so this is something we're going to get into quite significantly in a minute, but recruiting, proactive approach is to look at your staffing and skills mix, and recruiting a position based on the particular skills mix of your staff and what you need, particularly around the unit, the organisation, the unit, and the particular subdivision, and their particular strategic plans, as well as leading room, that if you were to do that, then you have this idea that you might have a transitioning period between 2 staff members and they get adequate handover. 9 times out of 10 in the health environment, that doesn't happen. It's something that that falls down the wayside. A lot of reputation get damaged because, it looks as though the staff at the hospital and the health service don't really know what they're doing. Versus a reactive approach would be recruitment based primarily as a form of post-termination. So someone's lost their job or someone's quit. Usually this is done more so to do with urgency. So it's a pretty significant issue that they've got to, there's a lot of urgency. So a lot of the time the candidate that's chosen is not usually the most suitable or the most ideal, but it's the person there at the time. And then finance, so diversifying savings or cutbacks in the health workforce over time. So this is like kind of looking at that. We all have this thing with the government. We all hear a tax cutback or cutting funding to a particular area of the hospital. That's that particular example. The idea that diversify those savings over small cutbacks over a lot of time versus a significant cutback in a short space of time. So some of those being job or spending freezes for a 6-month period, which is quite common practice in health services. The idea being that the budget can get quite out of control and it will come down from the chief executive of a local health district for the next 3 months. There's to be no spending except for essential circumstances. Okay, essential things being, they need to keep toilet paper and lights on in the water, but things like recruiting for admin roles, for example, as long as the primary business can still be done, they just want to recruit for that role for 3 months to try and save the money, which is quite unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay.